Parker Molloy is a Chicago-based writer and author of The Present Age, a newsletter about communication in a hyper-connected world. Between 2018 and 2021, Parker was editor-at-large at Media Matters for America, a nonprofit progressive media watchdog. There, she wrote about the role that right-wing media played in the rise of Donald Trump and the creation of alternate perceived realities. The Present Age was the 2022 winner of the New York University's American Journalism Online Award for Best Media Criticism. Judge and former CNN host Brian Stelter called The Present Age an essential part of an informed citizen's media diet. Parker lives in Chicago with her wife Kayla and their dogs Tater Tot and Casserole. And before we move on, where can they subscribe?
They can subscribe at readtpa.com.
That is readtpa.com. Parker, did you hear that? Yeah.
Hello. So, as my intro included, for nearly 3 years, Did You Hear That was essentially my job. So I was an editor-at-large at a progressive media watchdog group, and a big part of that job involved watching a truly ungodly amount of Fox News, Newsmax, One American News. And when I wasn't doing that, I was reading right-wing websites like Breitbart, The Daily Caller, The Daily Wire, The Federalist. Every day, I and others at work would consume right-wing content and write about the craziest things that were said. And it usually wouldn't take more than a day for something to go from being a segment on Tucker Carlson Tonight to being a widely held belief on the right. And I watched this play out over social media, where people would say things like, "Did you hear that? You can treat COVID-19 with hydroxychloroquine? The government doesn't want you to know this. Did you hear that COVID-19 pandemic was a creation of the deep state to manipulate markets and oust Donald Trump from power? Did you hear that students in a Michigan grade school are identifying as cats?" And the school responded by putting litter boxes in bathrooms. "Did you hear that Italy used satellites and hackers to change the votes in the 2020 election from Donald Trump to Joe Biden? Did you hear that there were more votes than there were registered voters in a Wisconsin county during the 2020 election? Did you hear that election workers in Georgia were caught on film setting ballots on fire?" Obviously, none of that shit's true. But people believed them. And I wrote articles about each and every one of those truly insane stories to try to debunk them. And I don't know how successful I was. But, unfortunately, that doesn't stop people from soaking up the information, forgetting where they heard it from, and treating it as truth. And unfortunately, opportunists would invent and spread these types of theories for personal, political, and social gain. So some of the most successful writers on Substack, which is where my newsletter is hosted, are people who found their way to fame and fortune through the spread of misinformation about the pandemic, mostly. So that's why I wanted to use my time here today, plop here among all the excellent stories and videos and everyone else, to offer my own little PSA. When someone starts a sentence with, "Did you hear that?" consider questions like, where did you hear that? Who did you hear that from? And respond accordingly. Thank you.